Public Enemies. Okay, we're talking this because Michael Mann is saying that he's releasing a sequel novel to Heat, and saying that he wants it to either be a modest movie or a really, really expensive TV series. So I wanted to look at Public Enemies just as... I'd never seen it before. Seeing as Michael Mann's probably going to be making headlines more so now, and I didn't see Black Hat either. It's an interesting later career that Michael Mann has had, and Public Enemies was just one I was meant to get to, so I kind of wanted to look through it now that he's, kind of, I would say, mounting a more of a comeback with a story that we all know very well. So, I would say I'm very conflicted on this movie. On one side, the story of John Dillinger is huge because it's a huge turning point in America. You still have, like you've always had, you have thugs, you have just robbers, just bank robbers, the type of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid going around robbing from the rich. But at this time in the country's history, now banks are getting bigger. They now have cars. You're now getting much more aggressive weaponry. So you get this feeling that the outlaws are going to probably end up taking over. And you can see that John Dillinger, and this I'm telling about the part of the movie that I thought is really fantastic. You can see in Johnny Depp this kind of, he thinks he is a god because there's always been a fight between, the government and the outlaws. And the outlaws are now getting the machinery. They're getting bigger targets. There's just a thought of, there's no way we can go between different states and we can rob in a way that no one is going to stop us at all. Like, there's no way that they can be stopped. So in one way, there's this huge historical context that is very, very cool, that I don't think it's very much a story of the old and the new, because Johnny Depp does such a good job of capturing that intense euphoria of, like, I am unstoppable. Like, there is nothing, and you can see some weakness in there. They do a good job of bringing out the weakness. He does a good job of bringing that out every now and then whenever, you see someone get killed and you can see, like, maybe this isn't going to end well for all of us. The other side of it, though, and the part of the story that is interesting, if you were to even step away from the movie itself, is that this is the creation of the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover, played by... Why am I forgetting his name? Oh, well. You've got J. Edgar Hoover, and you've got Purvis, played by Christian Bale. And they essentially are representing the administrative side of government that is saying, look, we want an industry that is just in charge of investigating everything around the country. We do not want jurisdiction when it comes to chasing after people. We want almost unlimited resources. And you can feel on the side of the government this kind of strain between, do we want to create something with this much power? I think it's a very cool conversation for a movie to be having. I think that's what is cool about the John Dillinger story. Now, in terms of how it plays out in the movie, Johnny Depp does a fantastic job of this. Already said that. You really get this wild, kind of like demon-like feeling from him in terms of, he doesn't like causing evil, but he just kind of he feels that there's an unboundless level of power. But every now and then, he comes across these kind of hints, whether it's friends that are moving on, whether it's the way that he's being tracked. He's starting to see that something is changing in terms of how America is becoming a much more centralized giant. And that, there's kind of a hint everywhere, these whispers of, you could get crushed by this thing that in a way you are helping to create because you are thinking you're larger than life. So whenever everyone in the government is like, I don't know if we really want a bureau of investigation, it's like, well, what do you want to do about John Dillinger? We're not going to catch him. The thing is, so Johnny Depp does a good job bringing what is needed for that tension to exist, but it doesn't really exist on the side of the government. It's flimsy. The Christian Bale's performance, Christian Bale is fantastic actor, but on this he's so flat. He brings no heft to the role, and even with J. Edgar Hoover, even with kind of the set design, the way that the agents are behaving, while you kind of see it, it seems more academic with them. It seems more of okay, we understand that this is a seat that needs to be filled, a role that needs to be filled. It's just not engaging in the way that the Johnny Depp character is. I don't think that the FBI, the creation of the FBI, needs to be seen as kind of frenetic and energetic as Johnny Depp's John Dillinger is, but you do need a little bit more energy in them, especially if you're going to you're going to kind of see them as the yin to the yang of Johnny Depp's John Dillinger. And also in terms, before going on to how it was filmed, the actual movie itself does not really give you a lot of moments between Purvis and Dillinger. And I really think that you need a lot more of that, even if it didn't happen in real life per se. I think that's where you need creative license to kind of give you a really knockout scene where the two of them essentially are having a conversation about how they're part of this new world order without actually... They're kind of caught in the middle of the chapter about the new world order. They don't say that, but something that kind of delivers that. And you just don't get that. You don't get... It feels lopsided, so you love when you see Johnny Depp. And that kind of goes with the way it was filmed, too. The way it was filmed, it seems like that DV type of digital feeling that Michael Mann got with Collateral that worked very well. With this, it just does not work, though. It's fine whenever you see Johnny Depp. And again, I think that's because he brings a level of energy that would work with almost any format, because it's a very exciting... He's a very exciting performer. He's a very fun performer to watch. But whenever you see Christian Bale and the FBI, it looks like a PBS Showtime type of just special, like a live TV, like a Masterpieces classic. It looks very cheap. The sets look cheap. It's very disappointing whenever the FBI then gets involved. Whenever the other side, the story of the government is told, it looks so cheap, which it then doesn't help that the characters now are bringing almost no energy. It feels very stale. And so in the end, I think you have an interesting movie. If you like history, if you're interested in the history of how it was that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, got created, how it was the resistance that was there because people did not want to just centralize one agency that was able to investigate all over the country with unlimited resources. And you kind of see the way that John Dillinger and his gang was one of the things that really pushed that, because they were starting to think that they were, gods, essentially, in terms of being unstoppable. So... yeah, it's lopsided, but still interesting and worth a watch, and it's not going to be on Netflix much longer, so if you have not seen it, I'd still recommend checking it out, especially if you're into history, into American history. So, yeah, leave me your thoughts on Public Enemies if you have not seen it, and also if you have not subscribed to 5 Minute Critic, subscribe for future updates of reviews and movie news.